where are you, by the way? Tell the audience.
I'm in London.
Someone's in London. How is London? There are people looking to you.
London is good. London is pleasant. I've been in. Took a deep dive down to Greece and Spain the last couple of weeks, which were boiling, and now I'm in London, which is pleasant. So it's good. I'm in a small studio here in Soho, and this is great.
Is it because you're on tour? Metallica's on tour.
No, we just finished. The last show we did actually was the Black Sabbath Ozzy show just about a month ago. I went back to Copenhagen for a couple of weeks, and then I went down and did a quick dive into Greece and Spain, and then we came up here to see the Oasis reunion shows. We saw them on Sunday. And
you went to Oasis?
We went to Oasis. Yes, we did.
Do you go backstage and counsel them on how to get along with one another? Do you bring that up at all? Did you go backstage and see those brothers?
I can tell you that the love up on stage and the love in the stadium and all that, they don't need any counseling. They're getting along like a house on fire. It's beautiful. I was actually also at the first show in Cardiff a month ago. And so this was my second show here at Wembley 2 nights ago. And even as awesome and as next level as it was in Cardiff a month ago, which was like the first show in 15 years, it was even better at Wembley a couple days ago. They don't need any counseling or advice from me. Trust me.
Lars, I didn't know you were an Oasis fan. You know, I never know with you. Yeah, huge.
Yeah, the biggest Oasis fan. I've since day one in the early 90s. Remember all those, magazines and music newspapers like The NME and Melody Maker and Uncut and whatever, all of them, Select and all those. I started reading about Oasis in around 93, 94, just when they were breaking. And they did the best interviews. I mean, every other word was the C word. Every other, was this motherfucker this. We're the biggest band in the world. We're going to be the best band. We wanted all that stuff. And it was just that attitude at that time in the early 90s was so fresh. And I was like, who the fuck are these guys? And then I was driving in San Francisco like a week or two later after I'd been reading about these guys. And I heard the song Supersonic, which was the first single that came to radio in America. And I was listening to it. I was driving, and I'd never heard it before, obviously. And I go, that sounds like that band that I've been reading about. And lo and behold, I was right. And because it was just about the attitude and the confidence and the whole sort of British kind of, we don't give a shit, we don't give a fuck, we're going to be the biggest band in the world. All that oozed out of the speakers as Supersonic was playing, and I've been a fan ever since.
That's a very little here.
There you go.
Yeah, very attitude. You know what? If we had a game where someone said, guess what bands Lars likes? I would have been 50-50 on Oasis because I could see you going a whole nother way. I could see you saying, these fucking guys, come on, they don't have one fucking hit song. They're bragging that they're the best band in the world. Fuck you, But no, you dug it. You dug their vicious attitude. It was very punk. You liked it. You liked bravado.
Yes, I mean, yeah, they definitely came out of the punk attitude. They loved the Sex Pistols and proclaimed their love for a lot of the other bands that came out of the punk new wave, like the Jam and the Clash and so on. And it was just so refreshing. I mean, obviously bands like Nirvana were great. Alice in Chains were great. Pearl Jam were great. But there was also a little bit of that, it was called shoegazing, and we don't really want to be famous, and we don't really want to be, and so there was that kind of dichotomy between, being on the radio and doing videos for MTV and all that kind of stuff, but we really don't kind of want to be famous, that weird thing back and forth. And then Oasis came along and just embraced it, and it was so refreshing. You should have been a professor of rock, because you're right. Now that you're taking me back in my memory bank, all those bands are like, yeah, man, it's not cool to be famous and fuck fame. And I remember watching Kurt Cobain was saying like, shit, man, we don't give a fuck about anything, and all self-conscious. These guys come along and they're like, fuck self-conscious. We want money and we want to be rock stars. We want to be the best. I love that. And they also had the songs. They had the songs to back it up. And anybody that you've had on, all the incredible musicians, the one thing that everybody can agree on, no matter what genre you're in, is that the hardest thing to do is to write a simple song. You know, Noel, who wrote all the songs, is a guitar player and the main songwriter, he was just the master of the 2.5, 3 minute, super simple song. You know, often the verses would repeat. He would have one verse and one chorus. The verse would repeat. You know, in some songs there were multiple verses, but it was so simple and it was so refreshing. And I'll tell you, of the many takeaways from seeing them twice in the last month, and I don't want to, I'm not giving away anything, set list surprises or anything here, but basically, apart from one song, all the songs they play live are from the first two albums. So every song that you're hearing over the course of this 2 hour live set were basically written and recorded in over 3 years. And that's fucking insane to have that kind of output and that kind of quality of songs that basically all were written and released over a 3 year period. You know, when we play, our shit's 40 years, and if you go see U2 or the Stones or whatever, it's decades and decades and decades. But the body of the best Oasis songs were basically all in the first two albums, and it's such a mind fuck that he could be that prolific and write that level of quality of songs.
Yeah, that's kind of Beatlesque. Like those guys would come out with
Yes.
albums after albums after albums. They were just masters in the studio. But why? Like, what is it, that short burst of adrenaline? They write all those songs, and then it seems to maybe go away or something, right? It's like it's a weird thing. You tap
Yeah,
into the public and what they want, and then it's hard to do it again.
It's that classic thing. You know, it's a moment of time. It's a confluence of all these different things. You're writing about, you know, you're writing about your childhood. You're writing about making it. You're writing about whatever you know, domestic things are going on in the home that you were raised in. Whatever the fuck it is, there's some trauma in there. There's some stuff that may have a, you know, therapeutic, you know, undertone to whatever it is, and then you get out there and you get famous and you start making money and you're in the public eye and in the tabloids, as these guys were, and then it becomes a different thing, because what are you going to write about? I will say, to Noel's defense, though, that as an Oasis fan, and certainly as somebody who knows their whole catalog of music, that there are many great songs that came after the first two albums. And so I'm certainly a champion of songs like The Importance of Being Idle or Lila, which came later, or, you know, the Hindu Times or some of this stuff. But everything that they're doing on the tour, which they're also bringing to America next month, is basically only from the first two albums.
Do you hang with those guys? Like when you go to an Oasis show, do they get excited that Lars from Metallica is there? And do you go backstage and you meet with like, do you hang with these brothers, or is it you just strictly? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I've gotten to know, especially Noel. I've spent time with both of them in separate situations over the years. Liam, from what I haven't seen Liam on these shows. I think that he kind of comes in last minute, goes up on stage, does his job, does it better than ever. His voice fucking sounds better than it ever has, and he's on fire. And I think he just gets off stage and leaves the building. But I've seen Noel, hung out with Noel, had some nice times with Noel, and he's very happy with how it's going. And I don't want to speak for him, but the vibe has been great. And I realized when I saw them in Cardiff a month ago at the first show, I'd seen Oasis maybe between 20 and 30 times. But I realized when I saw them in Cardiff, I'm standing there taking it all in, going, I've never seen these guys in England or the UK. And it's a whole nother thing to see them on their home field. I mean, it's like a cultural event. What can you say? It's like a football match, you know, like an English football match where everybody's rooting for the same team. And you've got 60, 70,000 people just going fucking batshit bonkers, singing the songs almost louder than the band sometimes. When you look around, sometimes you see people, they're not even looking up at the stage. They're like having their own karaoke sessions to each other in like little groups, you know, hugging it out and singing the choruses to the Wonderwalls or to the Rock and Roll Stars or to the Don't Look Back in Angers. And it's truly an otherworldly phenomena to see these guys in the UK, and especially now after being gone for 15 years. That's put a big smile on my face this summer.
You know what's great? I love that you're a fan. Like, guys who have been in the rock industry for a long time can get jaded and go like, I'm not going to another fucking rock show. We work hard enough. But man, you really dig go like you dig being with the crowd,
Oh,
watching these bands.
oh, oh,
You love it.
fuck yeah. No,
What were
fuck
your
yeah.
What are the
No,
best concerts you've ever seen? Because I know for me, and I tell everyone this, one of the best concerts I ever saw in my life was you guys at Madison Square Garden when you were playing with that 70-piece orchestra or something.
yeah.
What a
That's great.
mind-blowing show that was. But what are the top 5 shows you've seen? And then I need to talk to you about Ozzy, and then we're going to give you a big announcement.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Top 5.
Well,
It's
thank
Oasis.
top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely some of these Oasis shows. Seeing Rage Against the Machine at Madison Square Garden 2-3 years ago when they were on that reunion tour was a total mindfuck. Also, they were playing.
Why is it a
better
total
than
mindfuck? Because their energy?
it just felt like, they had been gone for so long, and obviously, again, most of the songs they're playing are from the 90s, but it felt that the song's relevance and the theme of the songs was more important than ever, and they still just play with this fire. The 4 of them, they've done different projects. Yeah, they just have this like thing that burns inside them, and it's just, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Why can't they get their shit together? Explain that to me. Come on, you know the answers. Give the answer, Lars. Stop bullshitting me. Why? What is the problem there with that band? Come on, play psychiatrist for a second.
I just they can't. I don't know. Ask Tom. Tom has his own show on Sirius.
Yeah, he's great.
It's just it's hard. It's hard for them to be in the same room and I guess agree on the vision. I don't want to sell anybody out or throwing anybody under the bus.
But they could be making. Let's talk business. They could be making a lot of money. Those dudes, right? Rage Against the Machine. I'd go see.
Yeah, and I don't even think for them. I just think that they love doing that particular thing. I mean, they've done Audio Slave. Tom does his thing.
Yeah.
Timmy, the bass player, has had other projects. Brad, played on the Black Sabbath record. They're all great at doing their thing. But when the 4 of them come together, they're like the ultimate example of that the sum of the 4 parts are just better than the individual. It's just unbelievable when they played, and just seeing them at MSG, I think it was 3 summers ago, when they did that tour that was cut short because Zach, the singer, injured himself on stage, and I guess ultimately he couldn't finish the tour. But that's certainly a show that comes to mind. Another show that comes to mind, and I may have talked to you about this before, but the first time I went to a concert in 1973 in Copenhagen, Denmark, I was 9 years old, and my dad took me to see Deep Purple with the original Ritchie Blackmore, Ian Gillan, Roger Glover. I mean, in the absolute peak of that lineup, with Machine Head and Smoke on the Water and Highway Star and all that. And
is that why you went into music? Do you think it was that concert?
That was definitely, it made such an impression on me. And even though I was playing a lot of tenors and that was kind of my calling for a few of those years, music and that Deep Purple concert definitely sort of became my passion, my hobby. But also, circling back to where we're going, I saw Black Sabbath. There were so many great bands that came through Copenhagen in those sort of 76 to 80. I saw Black Sabbath with AC/DC opening.
Oh my God, what a show!
I saw Rainbow a lot. Thin Lizzy would come to Denmark almost every year. I saw Thin Lizzy.
They were great live, weren't they? Thin Lizzy was, yeah.
Phil Lynott, the ultimate charismatic frontman. And so there were a lot of great shows, but I've seen, I'll tell you what was great was when we played that, remember that Power Trip show 2-3 years ago with us
Yes.
and AC/DC and Guns N' Roses. The best thing about playing on the last day of that weekend was that we got to hang for the whole weekend and see all the other bands. And we've talked about this many times. I mean, we're all just fans ourselves, and to be in that company of playing with AC/DC and with Guns N' Roses and with Judas Priest and so on. And I remember standing down in the pit. They were gracious enough to let us be in the front pit by the barricade there. And when AC/DC came out and played for the first time in 7 or 8 years, and just seeing Angus up there and Brian up there, and it was like, holy fuck, because AC/DC has been such a big part of my ride for 45 years. To see them still be out there doing what they're doing and delivering it, and James and I and Rob and Kurt Wall standing in the pit with our crew and our wives and our it was just like, holy fuck, you could reach out and touch Angus and he's still fucking doing it at, what is he, 65, maybe getting closer to 70, so crazy.
When you're in the pit watching AC/DC, do you wear earplugs? Do you protect your ears, or do you say fuck it?
No. I've got very sensitive hearing. I've always got a little pair of those 50-cent foam guys in my pocket wherever I go. Absolutely.
In case there's an emergency concert.
Exactly.
What do you? So even with all of the success Metallica's had and all of the incredible stories you could tell, you still have those pinch me moments. Like I would imagine, and I don't know if I got this right, but with the Ozzy tribute, Ozzy's last show, what an emotional show. You guys with so Tom Morello was in charge of putting that together. And the story goes, I think he called you directly. Yep. And he said, would Metallica perform at Ozzy's last show? And you immediately agreed. And that's what got everybody else to sign on. But there was no doubt. And was there a pinch me moment there where you go, Lars, motherfucker, I can't believe Ozzy's asking me to do his last show?
No, of course. I mean, listen, first of all, like I said, my relationship with these guys go back to 76, 77, growing up listening to all those records. And then, obviously we have the history of opening for Ozzy on the Ultimate Sin Tour in 1986, which was the first time that Metallica was out playing arenas in America. And really, Ozzy and Sharon introduced Metallica to a mainstream audience. So that was crazy. But then we got a chance when they were finally inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They asked us to induct them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I think was in 06 maybe, in New York at the Astoria. And then they didn't want to play for reasons that were never really that clear to me, but they asked if we would play. And so we're playing, Metallica's playing 2 or 3 Black Sabbath songs as we're inducting Black Sabbath into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And you're up on stage, and right in the front row is Geezer and Bill and Tony and Ozzy and Sharon and the rest of their families all sitting there staring. We're up there going through whatever Iron Man and a Hole in the Sky and going, holy fuck. And because, there's always been, with the bands that you grew up on, the bands that helped shape who you become, no matter where we land, in the success of all of it, and how everybody's story played out over decades, there'll always be a generational element of respect and love. You'll always look at a Black Sabbath or a Deep Purple or a Led Zeppelin or an Iron Maiden or a Judas Priest or a Rush or a Rainbow or a Thin Lizzy, because they were the generation that helped shape and ultimately, dictate who we became. So we will always do anything for any of those bands because of the crazy big role they've played in making us who we are. So when Tom called, this was actually, it was a while ago. It was maybe September. Tom called and said that they were putting this together. We'd heard rumblings, and obviously Ozzy had been pretty vocal in public about wanting to perform I don't think that he had played since before the pandemic. There had been multiple tours that had been announced. They were canceled or postponed. And, as his injuries, took more and more out of him. But he was so fucking determined to get up on stage one more time and have that with the fans, thank the fans, and also I think for him to feel that the journey was coming to a respectful end and to that fulfilling end that it needed so the book could be closed. And I knew in my heart that he wanted to do that, and we'd heard the stories about. So Tom called and said, "We think this can happen next summer. Will you be there?" And of course we were, fuck yeah. I texted the other guys in the band that Tom just reached out, and we got to do this. And it just so happened we book, when we book our dates, we book really long range. We're often booked like a year and a half out. So, but our dates ended in Denver right at the end of June. And we said, put the show together and we'll be there, and we'll be available, and whatever it is, we're happy. And what can we do to help you? So there's always been that, thing in the relationship. We do you remember the shows that Jan Wenner put together for the 25th anniversary of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at Madison Square Garden? It was
Yep.
it was maybe 11 or 12. It was they asked 4 artists to host they called them pods. It was Springsteen hosted one, U2 hosted one, Metallica hosted one, and I can't remember who else hosted, but so everybody would play with different artists, and that was where we did our pod with. That's where we met Lou Reed and did a bunch of this music with Lou Reed, which then put that relationship into place. But we also had Ozzy with us playing 3 or 4 Ozzy songs, and then we had Ray Davies from the Kinks, and that was great to then do that with Ozzy, and then subsequently Ozzy and Geezer came and played at Metallica's 30th anniversary shows in San Francisco that we held, I think, later that year. So there's definitely been a decades-long relationship going back to when Ozzy and Sharon graciously took us on the Master of Puppets tour when we were out there playing arenas. And the first time we played, we played up there in Nassau, and we played arenas around all of America. And, you're in Wichita, Kansas, and people are like, what the hell's going on here? As we came out and played Battery and Master of Puppets and all the rest of it. But it was the first time we were introduced to a mainstream America audience, and we will always be indebted to Ozzy and Sharon for that.
Yeah, I remember a couple of things. Number one, when you guys inducted, I think it was you who said about Ozzy that they might as well have called heavy metal music like Black Sabbath, because they were the guys who started metal. And so you've always had this complete love for Ozzy. Was there a moment after you agreed to this and you're there, did you get to say a personal goodbye to Ozzy going to the concert, or did you not see him? Was he, what happened backstage?
I mean, unfortunately.
Did you have the sense he was going to be dead in a few days? No?
I mean, to answer your question, we hung. We said hello.
What do you mean you hung?
Hugged.
What's hung?
Well, yeah. I mean, so over the course of, we were there for like 3-4 days, and every day people were doing sound checks and did the different bands and all that. And one of the first days was photographer Ross Halfin, a good friend of everybody that was there. They'd asked to do a photo session where all the bands who were there did a photo with Ozzy and the Sabbath guys. So that was one of the first social encounters. And so there was a big room, and Ozzy couldn't get around. There's no secret here. He couldn't get around. He couldn't really walk. So he was in a wheelchair, but they had this big throne for him. Though I think the one he played on stage was set up in the room. And he was there, and the Sabbath guys were there, and we all sort of positioned ourselves around, and Ross was directing traffic, and he asked me to sit on the armrest of Ozzy's throne next to him.
Oh, wow.
And so I
The
sat
chosen
down
spot.
yeah, yeah, that was kind of
Were you
like,
self-conscious around all those rock and roll people?
Well,
Were
it
you
was
like,
just
me?
it,
Yeah.
it was just such a great moment because you walk in and it's, oh my God, there's Steven Tyler. Oh my God, there's Chad Smith. Oh my God, there's Sammy Hagar. Oh my God, there's Youngblood. Oh my God, wait, there's Bill Ward. Oh my God, there's Mike Borden, who played drums with Ozzy, or there's Phil Anselmo from Pantera, or there, so it was just, you walked into this room and it literally felt like, like a class reunion or going to like heavy metal summer camp or something. It was just
Wow.
like
How great is that?
one big love fest. It was so much fun, and catching up with Steven Tyler and all these guys who you haven't seen for a while. And then Ross asked me to sit next to Ozzy, and we hugged it out. And I sat there and talked to him, and so how is it to be back here? And he was very eloquent and very sharp in his answer. And he told me that, as the crow flies, he grew up maybe a mile or two from where we were sitting at the Aston Villa football grounds. And so we were just sitting doing small talk, but it was so warm, and he was very present, coherent. It was just his body that was not in good shape, but his mind, and he was eloquent and talking and in the moment. And so we had maybe a good hour there, and not just with him, but with all the Sabbath guys. And then, we watched the sound check. I think maybe the sound check was the next day. There were maybe, I don't know, Howard, maybe 20 of us, maybe 30 of us in the stadium as they were sound checking, and they were fucking jamming on, like Into the Void and all these other like deep classics, and all the rest of us were just losing our fucking minds. And then they started playing War Pigs, with sort of the lights on and the show and the air raid cycle.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then, we were obviously, as fans, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn or being disrespectful here, but as fans, I think there was a sense from all the other musicians and fans of Black Sabbath who were there, basically there as the children, the stepchildren, whatever we all want to call ourselves, of the godfathers of the fathers. We were hoping for the best. We wanted it to be the best. We wanted it to be a grand slam, but we didn't know, because ultimately none of us knew what kind of shape they were in. And I think they've even been open in what I've read, Tony talk about or whatever. They didn't know how it was going to go. But then they were jamming, and it was like, wow, this is fucking sounding great. And then they started playing War Pig. And I think instantly for all of us who were watching, it was just like, okay, it's going to be fine. They sound great, if not better than ever. The pocket that the drummer, Bill Ward, it was slow, it was swampy, it was greasy, it was sexy, it was just fucking, it was just sitting there. And then Ozzy came in singing and sounded great, hit all the notes, hit all the lyrics and the timings, and everybody was just like, this is going to be fine, they're going to fucking kill it. And so to answer your question from a couple minutes ago, there was no real goodbyes, because nobody felt that this was the end. Obviously, it was the end of the music, and it was the end of the live experience. But it wasn't like, he wasn't in great shape, but nobody walked away from that 3 or 4 day weekend going, that's the last time we'll see Ozzy. We'll see him at some event, or we'll be there to present another award for him, or there'll be a fucking whatever 5-year back to the beginning barbecue at his house one day or whatever. So, but nobody, I don't think anybody left and drove out of the stadium that night going, that's the last time we saw Ozzy. So when he passed 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks later, excuse me, when he passed 2 weeks later, and waking up that morning, the shock of that, and how surreal that was just indescribable, really indescribable. And we're all texting each other.
Did you speak to Sharon at all?
I gave Sharon space. She heard from everybody. I spoke to Sharon a lot at the venue, but I texted, obviously, my condolences through to everybody, but I have not spoken to her directly.
Yeah, I texted her too, but I didn't know if I even have her the right number. I haven't texted her in a couple of years. Yeah. Wow.
But it was
it's mind-blowing.
it was just, I think all of us just felt that was the end of the run for the live experience, and that was the end of the public appearances. But we all felt that as far as the personal side of it, that there was still a part of the story, that was going to be. So 2 weeks later, we were all just so stunned. That was the word that was being texted around to everybody on the text chains that I was on. This is just so fucking stunning. So sad. But at the same time, he got to live, and this is what warms my heart. I mean, he got to accomplish that concert and that appearance that had been in him since before COVID. He got up there, he played, what did he play? Maybe 5 Ozzy solo songs, Crazy Train and all the rest of it. And then he did the 4 Sabbath songs. And I think probably, I mean, if you're going to play a little quarterback psychiatrist, Monday morning, he maybe it was just the load off his shoulders, and that he got to accomplish what he wanted, and then maybe he just sort of let go. Who knows?
Isn't it amazing when you think about how much he must have loved performing? Because I know if I was in his condition with Parkinson's and supposedly he was in tons of pain. In fact, he went off the painkillers to do the concert so he could be really there. Can you imagine loving performing? Like, I think I would be like, the last thing I want to do is get on a stage. I just want to be left alone. Let me just sit and just try to get through this. But the guy wanted one more shot at getting up on a stage with all his friends and all the musicians he loved.
Exactly.
I mean, would you be like that, do you think? If you had a serious illness and you had a couple of months to live or something, you think you'd want to just get up with Metallica and play one last time? Or you'd say, fuck this. I'm going to go with Woody Harrelson and go see Oasis. Didn't you go with Woody Harrelson?
Went with Woody, yes.
I keep my eye on you. I see who you're hanging with. Yeah. I know what you're up to.
It's a great question. I can't answer that if that moment happens. You and I will be in touch, and I'll let you know.
Right.
But I know for him, the way he was wired. I mean, those live performances kept him going. It gave him something to sort of
to live for,
not just to live for, but it was that carrot that was hanging. It's like, we gotta fucking do this, and he was just fueled by that energy and feeling that he could bring people together, bring the fans. He loved his fans so much. And
I really loved him too, because not even for the music. He was a great radio guest. He was the guy who would come in and do some wacky fucking shit on my show. He'd come in with the family. This is before the reality show. And I used to beg them. I said, you guys got to be on a reality show. I want to see your life at home. And sure enough, they did and had a hit. But like, he would say the craziest shit. When his daughter Kelly was young, she came on my show and she goes, Dad, why do you go to all the school meetings and fall asleep when you meet with my teachers? And he goes, because I'm always stoned. I mean, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
he was insane. He was the best.
He never made excuses, unfiltered, and he was the same. I mean, it wasn't just when he was on the radio. I mean, he was always like that.
Yeah,
and that's
fun.
In everything that I've read the last couple weeks. The most poignant thing is people just, because especially as you get more into the mainstream media and whatever, the New York Times is, or the intellectual media, whatever, there's a first and foremost a focus on the wackiness and the shows and the unpredictability. But the one thing that the people who really knew him, or fortunate enough to know him, was just how funny he was, and how warm he was, and how caring he was. But it was that he made everybody laugh that was in the room, and that's that's a rare thing, to just be able to be in any room and be completely and there could be a lot of A-listers or A-type personalities in those rooms fighting for pole position and fighting for being the center of attention. But he was always the funny guy, and it just disarmed everyone around him, and it was such a pleasure to be around.
Yeah, one last comment about those shows that, the last final show you did with Ozzy. Were you there when Jack Black got up with Tom Morello's, 14-year-old son, and they did Mr. Crowley? Did you happen to see that performance?
Yeah, I think that was a pre-taped thing that they show on the video screens. Yeah, but I saw it.
I didn't know that.
And it was great. And Jack Black, obviously,
I love that guy.
Ultimate, and talk about somebody who's also unfiltered and unafraid. The word unafraid in creative and cultural references is a great word to show around, because there are people that are just unafraid to do whatever it is they feel, or whatever it is that they feel, to drive something home or to make a point. And Jack Black is one of those that I think all of us are a little bit envious of, that thing of being completely unafraid.
Yes.
And he always fucking nails it. He always fucking nails it.
You hit it on the head. This guy, I love him so much, because I'm like, oh, Jack Black, first of all, he's there with Roman Morello, who is Tom Morello's son. And the kid's 14, and I'm so fucking pissed at this kid. I mean, this kid can really play the guitar so well. It's crazy. And Jack gets up there, and he's wearing the fringe and all that shit, and he just belts it out like. That's them. He can sing, right?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. I think they had a great moment.
No,
listen to him.
Jack's the real deal.
Listen to this kid. But anyway, rest in peace, Ozzy. And I'm glad we were together today to talk a little bit about Ozzy and remember him, because an important dude for sure, and we love him. So why is Lars here? I wonder how we should do this. Let me think for a second. I could read this announcement, but maybe you want me to read it? Come on, Lars, help produce the segment. In your band, you're always telling these guys what to do.
I'll throw it. Listen, I'll tee it up. I'll throw it out there.
Make the announcement.
We are so psyched. We are so honored. We're so fucking grateful to be able to say the following statement. Metallica is getting its own Sirius channel, channel 42. Right at the end of the rock and roll dial there.
Right.
42 will be Maximum Metallica, it will be called.
Friday, August 29th. Maximum Metallica.
Metallica, yep.
Will debut on SiriusXM. Could you imagine when you started and you're driving around that fucking van that you'd have your own radio channel with this is a big deal. Channel 42, the SiriusXM app, starting Friday, August 29th as well. You'll be on both. And the channel will feature the most Metallica anywhere. Now, what does that mean? It means mega hits, deep cuts, live shows, rare recordings, exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes stories, and surprises from the band. So you guys are very involved in the channel.
100%. That was the one criteria. If we're going to do this, it's got to be us. It's got to be our flavors. It's got to be us curating it. You're going to play obviously a shit ton of Metallica, but we'll also dip into the bands that influenced us, from obviously the Black Sabbath and the Deep Purples to the Iron Maidens to the Judas Priest, but also, maybe I'll do a deep dive into Oasis, who we just talked about, or, Kurt will go into a deep dive about whatever, Carlos Santana or whatever. So there'll be lots and lots of different things, and people that know us know that we only really look at the world in two musical categories: great music and less great music. And so great music, great music doesn't have to be defined and broken into genres or silos or whatever the fuck. So we're psyched to play all the stuff that turns it on. We'll go deep into some of the bands that have helped shaped us also, like Blue Oyster Cults or the Bachman-Turner Overdrives, or the reason we get out of bed in the morning and listen to music. And all of that shit will come from the four of us. And we're so psyched to share it.
Here's the important question.
Yes, sir.
Because you're going to be on the radio now and you have your own radio channel, have you practiced hitting the post? You know what I mean by that? You've got to talk up these records, and you can't step on the vocal. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know you can't step on the vocal. Yeah, we've
Will
done.
You have a radio name? Will you just be Lars, or will you come on with some kind of gimmick? Like I'm his head, quack quack, that kind of thing.
I'll be Richie Ribbon Smoke.
I like it. No, that's good. Now,
that was my first hotel name on the Ride the Lightning tour was Richie Ribbon Smoke. So maybe I'll bring that character back.
What about Lars the Love Sponge? You could be like Bubba the Love. That's right, or Cousin Larsy.
If I go into my love for Sade, because we all have, as you know, and you do yourself, you and I have talked about it, there's stuff that we love that people don't necessarily expect. So,
right.
I was actually talking to somebody the other day about the greatness of the first Sade record and how all 10 or 12 of those songs, that's one album you could listen to from beginning to end. So when I do that and talk about my love for Sade, I could be Lars the Love Sponge.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, that would shock me that you were into Sade. I mean, that was a good album, by the way. You're not wrong.
That was a great album. It was
a great album. No, and I remember, I recall at one point making love to that album. I mean, not the physical album, to a woman when the music was on. Now, wait a second. Lars, here's more excitement. Now, let's talk a little business. For the month of September, Maximum Metallica will be free to any car with a SiriusXM radio, even without a subscription. You've liberated it. So everyone can hear how great it is. So imagine some guy's driving his car, he doesn't even subscribe, and he's going to get Maximum Metallica. I'm very jealous of that.
Yeah.
And
somebody rents a car in Bozeman, Montana.
And they'll be listening to you. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And now this is the second part of the big announcement, which really blows my mind. And I have to ask you how you're going to pull this off. To celebrate the new channel, SiriusXM will host a live performance by Metallica at Stevens Talk House in Amagansett, New York. Now, if you've ever seen this place, what does it hold? 300 people or something? 200?
If you stuff them in there like sardines, it holds 200.
Yeah. Metallica.
I was told 150 maybe.
As someone who has seen many Metallica shows, I can't imagine what this is going to be, but I will be there for sure. You and Metallica are going to be there playing, but not like an acoustic set. You're going to do the full-on show in Stevens Talk House. When is the last time you played a venue that small? I don't even think when you do a rehearsal, you probably have more people in the room. Am I correct?
Yeah, I have to think. You know what? When we obviously, like everybody else, we had a year and a half of downtime around COVID, and when we came out to start playing again in 21 after COVID, we did a small show. But that's in a normal dome compared to Stevens Talk House. There was a place in San Francisco called the Independent, which is a couple miles from where we all live. Maybe that holds 500 or 600, but definitely like a smaller club. But like you say, Stevens Talk House compared to that is minuscule. So we're getting in the trenches here, everybody. Getting in the trenches.
When you say the trenches, when Metallica was first starting out, I imagine, there were nights where you played to 100 people.
There were nights where we played to 10 people. I mean, there were nights where we were playing to like 3 or 4 friends and a couple of stragglers, and then the bartenders and whoever was in there drinking who didn't even know Metallica was playing.
This is what this is going to be like. Is this going to be a more casual performance? Like, who knows what this is going to be? Because you guys at Stevens Talk House, I could see it being very, very much like a hang in your living room. For the lucky people who get to be in there. To attend, see official rules, enter at SiriusXM.com/Metallica New York, no spaces, blah, blah, blah. SiriusXM.com/Metallica New York, no purchase necessary, blah, 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 blah. Disclaimer. On Howard 101 and on Maximum Metallica, we're going to air this show, but down the line. But fans will be able to get in through the SiriusXM. And, but I mean, only a couple. I think it'll be very limited.
Probably more like a lottery. But there'll definitely be Metallica fans. You were kind enough to say you were coming, a few friends, but mostly fans in there. And like you were saying, it's not going to be acoustic. It's going to be full blast, full volume, full throttle. I think somehow inadvertently everybody in Amagansett will be able to hear this at some point. I think they're setting up. I don't know exactly the details of it, but I think they're setting up a small tent, like right. So I think we're actually the venue is what's going to be like, the dressing room or the hang or whatever, and then there's a small tent
Yeah,
outside
I've been there a
on the
million
lawn.
times.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah. I
tense
think.
situation, but dude,
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy. And
No, it's
do
gonna
you
be
do you,
fucking.
is it possible the volume that you guys play at that you might blow the windows out like physically? Wouldn't that be cool? Like if you just like all the windows started cracking and everything?
Yeah. I
And
think
and
it's
it's
from
gonna
what I
be
was told.
insane.
I think from what I was told, it's more of a late afternoon. I think maybe, and you may have the details there. I think
No,
it's
I
like a
do. I
six
love
o'clock,
it. I think it's earlier.
6 o'clock. Yeah, 5 or 6 o'clock detail. I think they want to kick off. I think they want to make sure that we don't play at nighttime
I love it.
when the quiet village of Amagansett is trying to turn in for the night. So
This
I
is my wet
believe.
dream. You know why this
Uh,
is my wet
uh,
dream? I'll tell you why. I don't like going to shows at 8 o'clock.
uh,
I'm in bed by 8 o'clock. I'm old.
well, it's great.
Seeing Metallica at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Amagansett, playing to like 200-300 people. I mean, this is beautiful. This is the greatest thing that ever happened. Maximum Metallica, sponsored by Hertz Rental Car. Very nice. Thursday, August 28th. Well, that's good because they have all the the radios in the cars. We're into that. Anyway, yeah, I guess that's the announcement. It's kind of mind blowing to me because if you're a Metallica fan like I am, to see these boys in a little room like that, it would be analogous to having them in my living room, setting up and playing a full concert, which is insane.
No,
Which
it's
is
gonna
insane.
listen. It's good. It's gonna be so much fun, and especially in context to coming off the shows that we've been playing the last couple years, which is the big stadiums and setting up in the middle of the stadium and playing the whole thing that we've been doing. So coming and doing this level of intimacy and this level of in your bag, literally in the backyard, and
Wow.
it's going to be so much fun. And I understand a fun tidbit somebody told me was that I guess Steve Earle, who we all love and respect as an artist, is actually playing inside Stevens Talks Out after we get off. So I
Really?
think that he's playing like at 7 or 8 o'clock or whatever that
I might
night.
watch
Whenever,
that too.
yeah. So it'll be a fun night, and looking forward to coming out there and hanging for a couple days. Us being Cali based and all that, we don't spend a lot of time out in the Hamptons. So looking forward to being out there for a few days and soaking up the energy and the good vibes. So it'll be a good
I
time.
can't wait.
Super
And you can
fucking
hear
psyched.
And you'll hear Metallica. This show will air on Maximum Metallica, premiering Monday, September 1st, and on Howard 101, Friday, September 5th. And wow, well, that's a hell of an announcement.
Yeah.
And welcome to the family. I'm glad you guys are on SiriusXM.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, what great company between, the U2 station and the Pearl Jam and the East Street Springsteen and I mean, so
yeah.
many
There's
of
a
them, the Fish and the Beatles and the Pearl Jam, and I mean
oh,
all of it. So it's
no, it's
it's good
fantastic. And I
company.
know
We've had a couple of when we put a record out, we did like a month takeover of was it Liquid Metal? I did one of them, and it's like we were kind of sitting around going, we could do this whenever they invite us to do this, and whenever they're ready, and we got the call a couple of months ago, and it's like,
it's
Scott,
great.
we're ready
I'm
for
so
this.
glad.
So
I love
we're
this. I mean, this is a mind-blowing kind of announcement because to see a band like yours in a small venue I mean, that's just a rare thing. And yeah, so like I said, get those tickets, on the website. What's with this rumor I heard that the kind of nervous you get when I bring up a rumor, that you might be running for president of the, no, there is a rumor that you're going to do a residency at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Is Metallica considering that? Bring us in on the business of Metallica. Is that something you're going to be doing?
we are so we're touring in Europe, doing like 3-4 months next summer. And yes, I mean, listen, I was there seeing U2 the first night when they took that stage. I guess what's coming up on 2 years ago now. I wanted to see it for myself before I saw it on YouTube or read about it. I was there, like everybody else that was there that night. I was completely blown away and felt that that was the kind of beginning of another chapter in live performances. Since then, the Dead have been in, Fish have been in, the Backstreet Boys are there now. Lots of great artists are finding ways to maximize this thing, and so I'm not going to confirm anything because there's nothing to confirm, but I'm not going to deny it because we have. We're all such fan. We're all such fans of this venue, and all our managers and our production people have been there and looked at it, and it's definitely something that we are considering. Nothing is etched in stone or greenlit, but it's something that we're looking at some point when the 26 tour is done, and I think it would be super fucking fun. That venue, have you been there?
No, I don't go anywhere. You know that. You know better than me.
Yeah,
What's the matter with you? Go there. I'm going to Steven's Talkhouse. That's about as far as I'm going. For that, I'll go.
You're right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But still, it's, I mean, everybody that goes is just blown away by the sort of the spectacle of it, but also it's like, how do you say it? It's like it's taking the concert experience to another level. And I just
you're doing it. I get it. I'm reading between the lines here. It's going to happen.
I'm not going to bullshit
I'll confirm
you.
it.
I would fucking love to do it. Let there be no question about that. Like I said, it's not signed, sealed, and delivered. But speaking to me and asking my opinion, I would love to fucking do it. And I think
it's going to happen.
Great. I hope it will happen one day. Absolutely. Let there be no question about that.
And I'll tell you another thing that ought to happen as a fan of your band. This year's Super Bowl is in San Francisco. Now, I am saying this. A lot of people, including me, would love to see Metallica do the halftime show. It's your hometown. This is the way to go. When will you confirm that? Will you confirm that on your new channel on SiriusXM?
The first day.
Will you have you been approached? You really should be the band. I don't know that you want to do that kind of thing, but if you did, you should be approached to be. You would do the Super Bowl.
Man. So fuck yeah, of course we would. We would. First of all, we would do it. Second of all, to do it in San Francisco would be a dream come true, and would be.
It's gonna happen.
Would be the right fit. Haven't been approached, but we certainly, in a nanosecond, obviously, if the logistics can be worked out, which I'm sure they could be, but to be able
fantastic.
to do, we just played 2 shows there. We just played our M72 show 2 nights there in June. And I actually went to the Super Bowl in, was it 15 or 16? When Coldplay and Beyonce did their thing there, which was fucking crazy cool. And would we do it? Of course we would. Have we been approached? No, we haven't. But it does seem that I know there was a little bit of pushback last year with Lil Wayne not getting it in New Orleans because of him being the local high profile artist and so on. And certainly as somebody who's represented San Francisco all over the world and shouted for decades about San Francisco and our love for the Bay Area, that part of it is the right fit. Ultimately, as you know, it's not our decision, but if we were approached, and I think the decision comes down the pipeline usually in August or September, so I'm sure we'll know shortly, but would we do it? Of course we would. And it does seem like when we were there at the stadium 2 months ago playing those couple of shows, you're kind of looking around going, it could be cool to come back here again in February, so fingers crossed.
Absolutely. It's going to happen. You know my name, King of All Media.
That's right.
I'm going to be talking with people today about this, and you should be expecting a call very, very soon. You wait and
thank
see.
You.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm on it. I'm on it. You know what I'm talking about.
I will give you all the credit that you deserve.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, thank you.
Listen, Congratulations on everything, but also just welcome. I'm thrilled that you guys, the Metallica channel is happening. Lars is thrilled about it. Metallica is very involved with it. They're doing the concert at Stevens Talkhouse, and they're also going to have their own channel, which I'm thrilled about. I love these guys, and I love their music, and I love their musical taste, so I think it's going to be a great fit. And you'll be driving around in your car, and you'll hear Metallica all the time and their sensibilities and all of that. So it's great. And what else is going on, Metallica? What else could I promote here? Metallica Saved My Life documentary premiered at Tribeca. And that's
Yes, it did. Yeah.
But it's a lot of stories of fans and how their lives changed because of Metallica. So
yeah, we have a bunch of fans, a crazy cool bunch of wonderful people, very diverse group of people that follow us everywhere we go. And so we started, I don't know, maybe, I think it was this side of the pandemic. Maybe it was on the tour before the pandemic. I can't remember. We started selling what we call the black ticket, which was a ticket that you could buy, and it would give you access to every show on a tour. So you just buy one ticket, and then you can just follow the tour around. And that ticket was such a success. And so we started kind of tracking who was buying them and realizing it was all the same people. And when you're on tour and you're playing here, and then you're playing there, and then you go over there, and then you're playing in Bumfuck, and then you go here, and you see all the same faces in the front row with their flags and their banners and representing all different countries of the world and all different ages and genders. And it's such a diverse group of people. So a few years ago, we said, let's celebrate them and let's make a movie about them. And
it's a great idea.
We got all of them to sit for interviews. And so this thing, Jonas Ackerlund, who's done, some of our videos, done a bunch of Madonna stuff. He's done documentaries on McCartney and Duran Duran, and he just finished a Billy Idol doc. And great Swedish filmmaker. Put this together for the last couple of years, and we premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival, and we're negotiating right now with a couple streamers and trying to figure out how to get this thing out to the people. But it's a love letter to the fans, and it's a love letter to the diverse group of people that follow Metallica through thick and thin. And
it is interesting, Sometimes I wonder about these people. I'm like, do they work? Do they have a job? I mean, well, if I can't follow Metallica around. I got to show up at work. I mean, I want to learn about these people and find out how to do it, and then I'll follow you guys around. I think this is a great. It's almost like a roadmap for how to live your life. Just follow Metallica around,
Yeah, and I'm telling you, it's such a great group of people, because like I said, I don't want to keep saying the word diverse, but it's such a diverse group of people, and the one thing that they all have in common is this love for Metallica. And I can tell you, as somebody who used to follow bands like Motorhead and Iron Maiden around, I used to drive, like the first time Motorhead played in California, in Southern California, I followed them. I drove behind their tour bus up to Northern California, and was like, so that one of those kids has been me. And I'll always have that thing in common with all these fans, and Metallica fans have heard me say this before. It's like, I'm the biggest Metallica fan there is in the world, and I always want to make sure that our hardcore fans feel like I feel about Metallica, but also the way I felt when I was doing my Iron Maiden version of that, or my Motorhead version, or my Diamond Head version, or even coming to see multiple Oasis shows and all that type of stuff. I mean, it's
amazing. You're this
being
fan.
A music fan.
Yeah, you're a big music fan. By the way, get in touch with me. I'll prepare the set list for your Stevens Talkhouse show.
Please do. It'll be brought to you by Howard.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
Got to do this one.
Yep.
Then go right into this.
Okay. Yeah.
Then we go right to here. How do you like my list? And then,
I love it.
After this one, do a little banter with the crowd, and then boom. Right? Am I on the? I'm onto something here. Then,
so
and then
onto it.
bam. Right, and then close out with bam. Or maybe you should start with that. But you know, maybe you want more high energy. I don't know. We'll talk about it. You call me. I'll figure it out.
How about this? How about this? You pick. How about we do this? This is the ultimate collaboration. You pick the songs. I'll sequence them. I'll sequence them.
That's fine. That's fine with me. Yeah. You sequence, I'll pick. All right. Listen, I love you. I love the band. I'm really thrilled you guys are going to have your own channel here on SiriusXM. That's a big deal for all your fans. And also this fabulous show that's going to take place in a very, very, very small venue in Amagansett, New York. I mean, I don't know how many people they hold. I've been there. I mean, sometimes I bring my kids, and then there's no room for anybody else. That's it. I'm the only guy in the audience. So it's a very small venue. It's going to be great. And as I said, fans can get tickets. SiriusXM.com/Metallica New York. Go on there. No spaces. It's August 20th. Okay. Listen, have fun. I'll see you soon.
Great to see you. Thanks
Great
for
seeing you.
Yeah, thanks for taking time out from your vacation.
It's on vacation. I'm staring at the wall. I'm not doing anything. This is the most excitement I've had all day. Vacation. I mean, what am I doing?
I'm flying back to San Francisco tomorrow, and we'll prep for the show. We'll play all your toe tapping favorites. I'll sequence them, and we'll blow Amagansett and the rest of the Hamptons away. And hopefully everybody will be able to get to sleep at some point when we're done.
There you go. All right, Lars. Take care. All right.
Love you. See you soon.
Love you.
All
right. Bye-bye. There he is. Very famous, very successful Lars. And thanks to Hertz Rental Car for sponsoring the Metallica concert at Stevens Talkhouse. Remember, Maximum Metallica launches on SiriusXM Channel 42 on Friday, August 29th.